What's up, Dub Nation? Welcome back to the DubsIn4 Podcast. Today is November 4th, 2018. This is episode 16, and we're now, 3 weeks into the NBA season, so that's pretty cool. Just a little disclaimer before we jump right into things. I'm a little sick today. Got a little bit of the sniffles, stuffy nose, and stuff, so if you can kind of tell, then coughing too, I guess. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm doing my best to get over it, but I've been a little under the weather today. But I'm still going to record because I do want to get this out for you guys, so there's that. Today we're just going to follow the same format as we have the past couple of weeks, just kind of wrapping up what went on in the Warriors week. For the last week, what the Warriors have, who they've played, what's been going on, and then give a little preview for the upcoming week and stuff, so we're talking about that, and then I'll jump some more into some other teams that have notable things going on around the league. So, maybe we'll talk about some other stuff after that. We'll see what I'm feeling like. But right now, we're just going to jump right off with the Warriors week. So, this week they played the Bulls, the Pelicans, and the T-Wolves. They went 3-0, so that's good. We're just going to start with the game against the Bulls on Monday on the road in Chicago. And this one was crazy because Klay Thompson broke the NBA record for three-pointers. Beat the record set by his teammate Steph Curry, of course, with 14. So the Warriors win 149-124. They scored 92 points in the first half. I remember this one because I was busy that day. I didn't get a chance to watch the game live. But I did see, I was kind of keeping tabs on it, and then I checked after the first quarter. They were doing pretty well, and they had like 40 something, I think. I don't remember exactly, but I saw the notification at halftime. So the Warriors, it was 92-50, and I was like, 92 at half. That's got to be some type of record, and I ended up looking into it, and that's the second highest scoring half of all time. The Phoenix Suns scored 107 back in 1990 in a half. So that's the all-time record, but the Warriors are second with 92. So that's pretty cool. That's the highest scoring quarter in almost 30 years. So that's really a cool record there. But the bigger thing is that Klay Thompson scored, I believe it was 52 points on 14 three-pointers in only 3 quarters. When the man gets hot, he's hot. He kind of broke out of his shooting slump a little bit. He's obviously, I think I talked about this last week, how he was in this slump to start the year, but we knew it would only be a matter of time until he kind of broke out of it and started getting his rhythm a little bit. And what do you know? 14 threes. Man, that's something else. I mean, the level of hot streaks that Klay Thompson can get sometimes is just unparalleled. No other player can do that. I mean, this is the guy that scored 60 points in 3 quarters one time. He also scored 37 in a quarter. When he's hot, he just doesn't miss sometimes. So 14 threes. Broke Steph Curry's record in only 3 quarters against Chicago, so that was pretty cool. That's pretty much the highlight of that game. The other highlight is Alfonso McKinney played well in pretty sizable minutes. I mean, obviously most of that was mop-up garbage time, fourth quarter and stuff. The Warriors were pretty comfortably ahead for like the entire time. So, but yeah, McKinney did play well, and then he played well also later on in the week too. We'll get there when we talk about the T-Wolves game, but McKinney played well there too. So. We're going to move on, but Klay Thompson kind of went off. On Wednesday at home, they played the Pelicans, and they took the win 131-121 on Halloween night. So that was kind of cool. Not really anything too much notable about this game here. Let me just take a look at the box score. Kevin Durant with 24, Draymond Green 16, Steph Curry went 37 again. It's funny that I say that. That's not notable. Steph Curry scoring 37 points. I mean, yeah, what are you going to do? I mean, it's getting to the point where it's like, yes, Steph Curry MVP season number 2 is kind of in the cards. He's just been unstoppable early on, and when he's not like scoring above 30 points, it's because Klay Thompson or Kevin Durant is going off. Or they're already just blowing him out as it is. Like Steph Curry, he scored like 29 twice this year. In the game against the T-Wolves the other night, he scored 28, which I believe that is his lowest point total of the year so far. Is 28 points is actually the lowest that he's had. So that just tells you the kind of year that Curry has been having. It's kind of hard to stop. I'm just trying to pull up these this box score here for these last couple games. I didn't have ESPN open, but yeah. Steph Curry's averaging 32.5 points per game, which is pretty insane. So there's that. But yeah, there was that game against the T-Wolves where Steph scored 37. And, Klay obviously played well again. Klay's been doing his thing with 18 points. Obviously not as amazing as a million threes, but he still did his thing. Let's see here. Versus New Orleans, Steph Curry had 37 points on 12 for 20 field goals. Shot 7 for 11 from 3. So there you go. KD with 24, like I said. Draymond Green with a nice all-around game, 14 rebounds, 8 assists, 16 points. That's a really nice one there. Jerebko with 10 off the bench. McKinney had 5 in 11 minutes, so that's nice for him. On the Pelican side of things, Anthony Davis was kind of limited, played 41 minutes, only managed 17 points with 12 rebounds, 7 assists. So, not the best night for Anthony Davis. Obviously it was nearly a triple-double. He kind of filled up the stat sheet. Good rebounds and assist numbers. His point total was a little low there. Shot 16 times, was only 6 for 16 from the floor, 1 for 4 from three-point range. So Anthony Davis struggled a little bit. That's kind of a big reason why the Warriors were able to get it done there. But they took the win by 10 points. And then moving on to the last game of the week, they played the T-Wolves on Friday. Came out with the win, 116-99. Followed the trademark Warriors formula of playing kind of crappy for 3.5 quarters and then playing 4 good minutes and winning by 20. It was that kind of night for Golden State. Nobody really took control. Everybody had like a Warriors kind of game. Kevin Durant with a light 33, as well as Steph Curry chipping in 28, like I said earlier. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's his lowest point total of the season, is 28, so that's pretty insane. Klay Thompson with a strong 22 as well. Draymond Green with some nice 9 points, 9 rebounds, 11 assists, so a near triple-double for him again. And Alfonso McKinney with 8 points, 8 rebounds off the bench in 27 minutes. So we've seen a lot of good stuff from McKinney so far. But other than that, Sean Livingston hasn't been playing a ton lately. Andre Iguodala hasn't been effective scoring-wise. Obviously you can still see his impact. But McKinney's kind of picking up the minutes from McCaw. A little bit of Iguodala slack, Livingston as well. Quinn Cook hasn't been playing as much. So McKinney's going to pick up those as well. But we've had some really nice minutes from McKinney to start the year, so it's looking like he was a really nice pickup. Just off the street, pretty much. He might have gotten a job somewhere else, but the Warriors are giving him a really nice opportunity, and he is definitely making the most of it. So he's been one of the bright spots so far this year as well. As well as Jerebko, Looney. This is looking like the Warriors' strongest bench unit they've had within the past couple of seasons. They don't have as many true big men, which I feel like is probably a plus. The only true center they have on the roster is probably Damian Jones. I guess Boogie too, but he's still injured for now. And then Looney can play power forward. He can also play center. Same goes for Jerebko, Bell. They're all pretty flexible position-wise. Last year they had two, completely true centers in McGee and Zaza Pachulia, both of which are no longer with the team. So that's just something interesting to note. They've got a lot more wing players this year. And I feel like their bench unit is doing pretty well. Jacob Evans has been okay in very limited minutes that we've seen him. Quinn Cook hasn't played a ton lately, but he's been good as well. Like I said, Iguodala is slipping a little bit with age, but he still brings a lot of IQ and durability and toughness to the team, so that's good. Like I said, McKinney, Kevon Looney's playing well, Jordan Bell, Jerebko, and then obviously the starters all doing their thing. So I've been pretty impressed with the Warriors so far this week. They played well in pretty much all their games. I guess the T-Wolves, they kind of struggled for the majority of the game and then played really well in the fourth and ended up winning by nearly 20 points. So that's sometimes just really goes like that. Okay, so coming up this week, let's give a little bit of an overview here. Tomorrow we have the Memphis Grizzlies at home. Just a side note, Omri Caspi will be getting a ring from the Warriors tomorrow night. He didn't finish last season with the team, but they did agree to give him a championship ring after he was waived to make room for Quinn Cook on the playoff roster. So that'll be kind of interesting to see. But yeah, Caspi will get his ring tomorrow. Grizzlies are actually very surprising so far. I believe they're 5-3 now. I think they just lost to the Suns tonight, which, I mean, to be fair, that's pretty bad to lose to the Suns. But still, having the Grizzlies at 5-3, that's pretty impressive. They lost to the Suns by 2. D-Book hit a game winner. But, I mean, they've beaten the Jazz twice now. They've beaten the Wizards, the Hawks, Pacers. No, they lost to the Pacers. Lost to the Pacers, lost to the Kings. I mean, to beat the Hawks is to be expected. They've beaten the Suns once, but they've lost to them once as well. The biggest surprising thing about this is probably the 2 wins over the Jazz. The Grizzlies always play the Jazz pretty well, though. For some reason, the Jazz like to struggle against Memphis. Not really sure why, but they have beaten the Jazz twice. Both at home here in Salt Lake City. The Grizzlies have beaten the Jazz in Salt Lake twice, which is weird. But anyway, they're now 5-3. 5th seed in the West right now. Obviously, I don't think this is going to last. I didn't have them pegged as a playoff team. I still don't. But they're maybe a little bit better than we thought. We'll have to see. But tomorrow night the Warriors get the Grizzlies at home. Shouldn't be too hard of a game. But you never know. Grizzlies could show up and play really well. We'll have to see what happens there. And then coming up after that, we have, I believe it's the Milwaukee Bucks on Thursday. Yep, at home against Milwaukee. That'll be good. The Bucks are definitely a strong team this year. Now they're 8-1 with only 1 loss. So that's, I mean, the Bucks are really, really impressive. They just took their first loss the other night to the Celtics, I believe. They were the last undefeated team in the NBA. Giannis Antetokounmpo playing like an MVP candidate so far this year, so that's going to be interesting to see how he plays against the Warriors with Kevin Durant guarding him and stuff like that. But I believe that one's going to be nationally televised, or at least it should be if it's not. So that one's on Thursday at home. Bucks will be a tough challenge. We'll have to see how the Warriors play. But that's probably the hardest game they've had so far. I mean, that game against the Jazz was tough. And then going to the Nuggets on only 1 day rest in Denver was tough, and that's why they lost that one. But I'm sorry, excuse me. But yeah, we get the Bucks at home, so that'll be interesting to see. That's a game I'm really excited for, though. And then following that on Saturday, they have the Brooklyn Nets at home again as well. So they've already played the Nets in Brooklyn this year, and they're coming to Oracle on their West Coast swing pretty soon. So Nets aren't too great of a team, but they did kind of play the Warriors close. They almost made a comeback when they played them in Brooklyn. So this is the second of 2 meetings with the Nets, so kind of get that out of the way right off the bat. We won't see them again after this, and obviously they won't be making the finals, so the Warriors won't see the Nets again until next year. But, I mean, it'll be interesting. They're a scrappy team. They play hard. They got a lot of good players. I mean, good, not great, is how I would describe their roster. They've got a lot of nice, maybe not nice young talent, but just like solid rotation NBA players. For examples like Spencer Dinwiddie, Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, D'Angelo Russell, all sorts of guys like that, who are none of them are all-stars, obviously, but they're all like, they could start for NBA teams, and they would play solid rotation minutes on contenders and stuff like that. So they're pretty good. Nets play hard. I am excited to see them a little bit more coming up this year. They're fun to watch too. Jarrett Allen's really exciting. But yeah, they get the Nets at home. That one shouldn't be too hard. Like I said, Nets aren't that good, and we won't see them again until next year. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, 3 games this week. 2 of them should be pretty easy wins as long as the Warriors play their style of basketball. The Bucks will give them a test. I do not think that the Bucks are going to the finals in the East, but I wouldn't rule it out. So potentially could be an NBA Finals preview. I mean, I doubt it. I would rather see, or not rather, but I think that it'll either be the Raptors or the Celtics, most likely. But I do think the Bucks are a good team. They are the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference right now, so there's that. But yeah, we'll just have to see how that one goes. But anyway, that's it for this week's Warriors. So that's no back-to-backs. Tomorrow is Monday, so they have 2 days rest before they play the Bucks too, and it's at home. So that's pretty much all they can ask for against a good opponent like that. So that one should definitely be good. Actually, let me check out the Bucks' schedule here. What they're looking like. So they play the Trailblazers in Portland on Tuesday, and then come down to play the Warriors on Thursday. So they only have 1 day rest on the road. So the Warriors should have the advantage just based on schedule-wise, but again, we're not really sure on that. So, but Bucks are an exciting team. They play hard as well. Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton's looking like an all-star this year, so we'll just have to see how they match up. But okay, that's enough of that. We're going to move on. I have just a list of teams here, just a really short list, because I kind of want to make this one a little bit of a shorter episode. But yeah, we're going to talk about 2 teams that have been a little bit disappointing in the past week or so, and then 2 teams that are playing well. I've kind of already covered one of them, so I guess we'll just jump right in. I guess we'll talk about the Bucks for like half a second more, but I do have the Bucks on the list of teams that have surprised me. They're 8-1, playing really well with only one loss. Close loss to the Celtics in Boston, so that's nothing to be super ashamed about. We know the Celtics are good, and on the road that's a tough game always. But and they played them close. Antetokounmpo was playing like an MVP candidate. Chris Middleton still solid. They have nice pieces: Eric Bledsoe, Malcolm Brogdon, Thon Maker's still all right. They added Brook Lopez now, so. We'll just have to see how the Bucks play down the stretch, but so far their start of the season has been pretty much as good as it could be, so that's nice for them. And the other, actually no, we're going to talk about a disappointing team right now. I've already kind of touched on the Wizards, but they are still struggling. What are they, 1-8 now? Or I think they won a second game. Did they? Yeah, they're 2-7. They beat somebody crappy the other day. Was this last night? I don't even remember. Oh yeah, they beat the Knicks today. So, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about the Wizards. They're kind of having a hard time so far. Dwight Howard has been back, I believe, for the past couple games. Yeah, Dwight played today. In 31 minutes, he got 10 points and 10 boards. So, John Wall had 26 today. Bradley Beal had 22. So, that's kind of how they're going to have to play to win. But they beat the Knicks by 13. I don't really know what to make of the Wizards right now. They're kind of having a hard time. I mean, obviously at 2-7, it's kind of a dumpster fire. But there's been reports that came out that said they're not considering firing Scott Brooks at all. I wouldn't be surprised if they're still struggling if they tried to make some sort of move coaching-wise or player-wise if they want to make a trade with either Beal or Wall involved. I don't really know what the Wizards should do from this point, but at 2-7 so far, that's not what you're going to want for a team that's claiming that they can be the best in the East. Like, they've come out and said it, that they think they can beat anybody in the Eastern Conference. But right now, at 2-7, I mean, you've lost to, like, the Kings and to the people. I don't know who else have they lost to. Let me check their schedule real fast. They've lost to the Grizzlies, the Thunder, the Clippers, the Kings, the Warriors. They beat the Trailblazers in overtime by 1. It was close. Lost to the Raptors without Kawhi. To the Heat by 1. To the Pistons. Or no, that was preseason, so they did not lose to the Pistons yet. But so this week they have the Mavericks on Tuesday, Magic on Friday. Both on the road though, and then the Heat on Saturday on the road again. And then they get the Magic at home. So not some tough teams this week, and obviously they're road games, but they're going to have to win on the road at some point, right? So this week I think we'll really see if they're going to continue to struggle or if they're going to kind of figure it out, because they're playing some not great teams in the Mavericks and the Magic, as well as the Heat are kind of struggling too. So we'll just have to see how that ends up. But the Wizards have been struggling, and then I'll move into my other surprising team right now, and that would be the Sacramento Kings, man. What are they now? 6-3, 6-4? Yeah, they did lose today, but they're now 6-4. They lost to the Bucks, which can be expected. It was still a blowout loss, but yeah. They've beaten the Hawks, the Magic, the Heat, the Wizards, the Grizzlies, Thunder, Pelicans. Nope, they lost to the Pelicans. And they lost to the Jazz. So I mean, I guess none of those wins have really been, like against great teams. The Thunder struggled early on, so the Thunder started 0-4, but the Kings still did beat them. They've beaten the Grizzlies, who have been impressive. They beat the Wizards, who I just talked about, and they beat the Hawks, as well as the Heat and the Magic. All three of those teams are kind of struggling. Heat are supposed to be good, but I don't really buy into them. And the Hawks and the Magic, no. But I don't know. I had the Kings as the worst team in the league in my preseason power rankings. But right now they're 6-4. Obviously, I don't think they're going to continue this sort of hot start. But 6-4 is certainly not what I expected of them. I certainly expected more of a 0-10, 1-9 type of start. But I mean, that's just impressive. I mean, I guess maybe I was a little wrong about them. I do not see them as the worst team in the league anymore, at least not right now. That could still come to pass later down the line. But for now, they're playing like they're not a bottom 5 team right now. That's for sure. I mean, with their record, they can't be. So that's just interesting. Not really sure what to make of the Kings so far, but De'Aaron Fox has been playing pretty well. He had a really nice game the other night. It was I think it was a triple-double with 31, 15, and 10, something like that. But yeah, De'Aaron Fox is kind of a... I actually do want to check on that, what his stat line was the other night. Was that against the Hawks? That was against the Hawks on Thursday. De'Aaron Fox with 31, 10, and 15. Yeah, 31 points, 10 rebounds, 15 assists. So that's pretty crazy. That's a really nice game for him. So maybe he'll turn out to be something there. But Marvin Bagley's been holding his own so far, as well as Buddy Hield. Bielitsa's been a pretty big bright spot. Willie Cauley-Stein, Shumpert giving him some quality minutes there. But yeah, the Kings have been surprising so far, man. I did not expect a 6-4 out of them. Anyway, we're going to move on now. Pelicans. After starting 4-0, they're now 4-5. They've lost 5 in a row. Part of that can be attributed to Anthony Davis missing games. I believe he's missed like 3 games so far. He did play against the Warriors, but wasn't super effective there. Didn't play very well, and it's the Warriors, so they lost. But yeah, I don't really know what's up with them. They started super hot and have definitely faded down the line. They're now the 11th seed. I believe it has been 5 losses in a row. Yeah, they lost to the Jazz, Nuggets, Warriors, Trailblazers, and Spurs. And I mean, those 5 are all playoff teams in the Western Conference, right? Jazz, Nuggets, Warriors, Trailblazers, Spurs. All 5 of those right now are playoff teams, and they probably should be later down the line. I mean, Trailblazers are playing well too. I didn't have them in the playoffs earlier. Spurs are also... I don't really know what to make of the Spurs because they've had so many injuries. It's just tough to tell with them early on, but they have beaten some good teams as well. So, but yeah, Pelicans have now lost 5 in a row after starting 4-0. So you can never really base too much off the first, few games of the year, but the Pelicans are a good example of that. So 4-5 now. I don't know. I mean, it's still really, really early to make any definitive judgment calls here, but I don't really know. And I hate saying that, but obviously I just don't really know. Okay, so yeah, that was the end of that. So, yeah, the Warriors have some interesting games coming up this week. That game against the Bucks on Thursday, that'll be one that I'm going to be trying to watch. We'll have to see if I can find time for that one because I'm really busy with life this week. But anyway, that's going to be the end of today's episode. This has been episode 16, DubsIn4 Podcast. I'll see you guys next week with another week wrap-up. Maybe I'll do a Power Rankings episode soon, not really sure. If I ever have time to fill out a Power Rankings list, I'll be able to do that. That'll be a little bit of a longer one, obviously, but we'll just have to see what I end up having time for. Anyway, that's going to be it, and I'll see you guys next week.